Let's talk about how to pass a mortgage broker interview. So how do you actually do that? Well, I've got my notes here because realistically, passing a mortgage broker interview isn't as hard as you think, but they do see a lot of people. And so there are a few things you need to know in order to stand out, because otherwise you are going to get sucked into the trap of sounding and looking like everybody else. And humble brag here. I've never, well, I hate saying this. I never have actually not got a job when I've done an interview. And I've done a couple of mortgage broker interviews in my time. And I've also done staged interviews and other things like that. And I've never not got a job. And there's a few things I do when it comes to this. And now being in the industry, knowing what people are looking for as well, definitely has helped out. So I'm going to share a few of the kind of the kind of good practices and bad practices as to how you can hopefully ace those interviews that you're going for. So let's dive into it. So the first one is do your research. Okay, you need to do your research when it comes to the company you're going to. I mean, that's pretty basic, of course, but research is important. If you're not researching the company, understanding what the company's about, what their kind of business model is, you're going to instantly start looking like an amateur. Every single mortgage brokerage is completely different. Even though we assume they're the same, they do mortgages, it's regulated advice and all that type of stuff. But actually, if you're going to an independent company, what are they known for? What do they sponsor? What do they do? How long have they been trading? Where did the principal start his career or her career at? These are things you should be looking into, really should be looking into. The other thing then, if you're going for a corporate company, what is the area? Who is the market leader when it comes to a estate agency? What do they do? How do they operate? What are their reviews like? Usually, by the way, for most corporate companies, not great. Doesn't reflect that the company's bad, just usually not great in that case. But there's lots of things that you should be doing with this research to begin with, by far. Now, the next thing, once you've done your research, I don't think that's some sort of secret weapon. You should be doing that. Everyone's doing that. That's kind of the case. But then we're going to move into the bits that I think people don't want to tell you. And the next thing this is the next point, is show you are worth it. So your job is to show people that you are actually worth the conversation and then the hire. And this is something that I've spoken about this at actually quite a length in my podcast, which you should check out if you haven't already. And that's the Mortgage Business Mastery Show. I'll link it in the description. It's a different YouTube channel. You can find Ash Ball and that will be there. But I talked about this, which was when I was my original career a long time before I did any of this, I was actually in musical theatre, performing arts. And I went to a top college in the country, and I remember walking in and the director, we were all there, and the director, like the first day of the first year of the whole thing, and the director of the college walked in and he said, I don't know anyone's names and I'm not going to bother learning them. And he was like, and I remember him saying that, and he said, because the people who are worth being known will make themselves known, and the people who are not worth being known won't. And that, specifically that, is a huge unlock. For me, a lot of people got really upset about it. They didn't like it. For me, it was a massive unlock because instantly I understood the mission, the goal, what we were trying to achieve, which was, by the way, to get people to know you. And so you have to be someone to actually be worth employing. That's the same thing here. You need to be worth it. Well, how are you worth it? Be different. Be, memorable. That's it. So have some sort of style, some sort of personality, some sort of edge to you. By the way, your hobbies outside of work can do this. How you dress. If you come in a boring suit and tie and it's the same old rubbish and the same old stuff, it's going to look like everybody else. And I remember this as well when I was a broker. This is something I always remember, which was making the odds in your favor. Okay, which is this idea with it of like making the odds in your favor, which is that if they say they're interviewing 5 people, okay, you got a 1 in 5 chance of getting it. That's realistically the odds, 1 in 5 chance of getting it. But if, and this is quite important, if you make it so your interview and you make yourself so kind of out there and like genuine and someone that you're memorable, then the odds now become 50-50. And the reason they become 50-50 is because now it's not which one of these 3 do I like. It's literally, you've got to make it, do I think Ash is great or do I think Ash is an idiot? That was the goal, always. Do I think Ash is great? Do I think Ash is an idiot? Then the decision then becomes one in two. Not, do I think he's better or worse than these other people? It's, do I think this guy is absolutely brilliant or do I think this guy is an absolute moron? And I think this is the bit. And by the way, this is a trick how I used to win business as a mortgage broker. It's the same thing. You will make the odds, very Hunger Games in this, you will make the odds in your favor by doing that. And yet so many people don't do that. They are just generic and boring and just bleh. The next bit we have is don't be naive. Don't be naive. I get so many people who message me in this space, like as in like where we are now, wanting jobs, getting jobs. And they think that they bring something to the table that they don't. Be honest with yourself. It's okay that you don't know much and that you're a beginner. That's brilliant. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can completely build a career as everyone has. I started there. Everyone started there. But you need to not be naive to your lack of ability and lack of what you do bring to the table. You got to highlight what you do, but realistically, remember that you are not like some sort of unique thing. I get people reach out to me all the time who say, I tell you what, you could train me, you could coach me, and you could be I could be a case study of, how you could coach someone if they are, like going through this whole process, because you can't afford to pay me. And because I work with people who are established. And I get that a lot. I get that probably once a week. And why I say that is this doesn't bring any benefit to me at all. Proving me coaching you doesn't benefit me at all. Like I'm busy and I don't have the time to do that, and the money, and it's expensive to do that. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because it's exactly the same with work. Don't think that it's an opportunity for you to be there. You have to be. Don't be naive to that. You have to be realistic of what you get more out of the exchange than they do. Remember that you do get more. And so you've got to be worth it. And it goes back to the thing, but don't be naive to that. And we watch it all the time, Gary Vaynerchuk and people like that, and they'll say, message people, I work for free. People don't want that. It's a pain. People don't want to work for free. I don't want case that. They don't want it. Especially successful people. They don't have the time. So you've got to, don't be naive to it. And then, like I said, do your research, make yourself worth being kind of remembered and interviewed and like someone they should work with. Which brings me to my final point, which is, and this is the bit that I would say is the secret sauce as to how I won all my interviews. Not most, all. I've won every interview I've done. I'll lose one eventually, I'm sure. But, well, I'm not going to get for a job anymore. So I hope not anyway. So what is this one, which is, remember that you're interviewing them too. Remember that you're interviewing them too. What I mean by this is, we are too busy hoping that we are going to get the job, wanting to please, wanting to show them. But the moment you get into that room with them, you are deciding if it's a good fit for you to work with them as well. You are deciding that. Period. Like, that's it. So it's not, please, Mr. Connells, please, Mr. L&C, please, Mr. Local Independent Broker, I really need the job. It's not that. What it should be is, I'm going to see if I think you're a bit of an idiot or not, or whether I like you, whether I think your culture aligns with my culture. And saying that, not thinking that, saying it. Hey, look, what are you excited about? I've got some questions for you because I just want to see, what you're looking forward to with the interview. I'm just really looking forward to learning more about you, seeing if we're a good fit. Obviously, you want to see if I'm a good fit for you. I want to see if you're a good fit for me, and if our kind of culture and our goals and our visions align. Instantly, by the way, people want what they can't have, because now you've flipped the power dynamic. And now, by the way, the other stuff, by default, you become someone who's worth it, and you don't show that you're not naive. You start looking like actually you are somebody that's kind of got this. Oh, because by the way, that's how you win business. All of these things is how you win business in discovery calls, because discovery calls and mortgage appointments are interviews. That's what they are. And you're deciding if they're a fit check. You're seeing these things. So that's what you got to do. If you do those that way, you will win your job interviews. I can't promise you, but because obviously I don't want to be held accountable to that. But at the end of the day, you will win. But most of you, and I love you all to bits, you just beige. And you've got to not be beige. You've got to be vibrant, colourful, whatever. Stand out. You can't be just vanilla like everybody else. So how do you know if they are a good fit for you? Well, I did a video actually recently which talked about that, what the things you should be looking for, the things you should be asking them, all of those things. So it's like the training programs, the onboarding programs. I broke it down. I'll put it on screen right here, and I will see you in the next video.